Hi, Ursula Mon here. I'm here today with Nancy Diluski, a attorney that will help us to understand what we can or what we cannot do on the internet when we write a blog or when we post something on social media. Um, Nancy, can you please tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. I'm a business and real estate attorney. I have over 20 years experience in the field. Some of my more recent experience relates specifically to intellectual property. Copyright law falls under this category of law. I've been teaching intellectual property courses at a university here in Central Florida, and we touched directly on some of the copyright issues we're going to discuss today.
Wonderful, Nancy. Can you tell us what you should consider not doing when you're on the internet, either if you're blogging or writing some posts, or what can you do with your own content or with somebody else's content?
Well, I think the first thing and the most important thing that you need to keep in mind is that almost everything that you find online is copyrighted. And anytime you're using somebody else's work, unless you have written permission, it is infringement of copyright law.
So what do you need to do to be able to quote somebody else or use somebody else's content?
Well, in some cases it's not possible to get permission or it's too cumbersome. So in those cases we look at a couple of different factors to see if your use is acceptable. Now there's no specific law, as in law that you can go look up under a statute or a code, but there is case law, and basically the courts have developed through various cases a doctrine called fair use. And under the fair use doctrine, there's a number of different factors that we look at to see if the use of the work is acceptable without permission.
So if I understand that correctly, if you want to use somebody's content and you cannot be sure that it's okay to use it, then you have to get permission. How would you suggest somebody can get permission to use somebody else's content?
Well, what you would need to do is find out who owns the copyright to the work. And many times the author or the creator of the work has transferred it to someone else. So just going to that author or creator is not going to be enough. What you would need to do is find out who owns the work and then go to that person. And a lot of information can be found on the website that you're trying to copy from. If you look at the copyright symbol, you can see who owns the copyrighted material. Another thing would be to go to the terms of service, and there might be more details about what to do to get permission to use work that's on the site.
Okay, that's excellent. Now tell us, what can you do with YouTube postings or videos that are out there for everybody's view?
Okay, well, just because something's posted on YouTube doesn't mean that everyone can use the material that they can view. Sometimes there will be a link embedded that you can send to other people that you can post on your site, and again, that does not mean that you can use that to market your own product. What it means is that you have the right to use it for viewing purposes. So you would still need to contact the owner of that material to determine whether or not you can use the link. YouTube also has a feature where the link is not embedded and then you can't use it.
Okay, that's excellent. How about music? If you want to have a background or use the music for your video or for your podcast, what do you suggest to do at that point?
Well, you're going to follow the same procedures. You want to find out who the owner of the work is and get permission from that person or company. Just because it's posted online and you can listen to it and you can download it doesn't mean that you can use it for your own purposes.
Okay. Any other things or items you would want us to alert to at this point?
Well, I guess there's really two different things. Outside of copyright law, there's also other laws that protect individuals and businesses. And laws relating to defamation would come into play if you're using somebody else's either their material, which you may or may not have permission to use, in such a way that disparages or harms the reputation of the product or service or individual, or if you're writing about something or someone that they consider to be defamatory. You want to make sure that you're not doing that. And then also, in determining whether or not you need to seek permission from anyone to use copyrighted material, you want to look at whether your intended use may end up being okay. So some of the things you should consider are, what is your purpose for using the work? What is the nature of the work? How much of the work are you going to use? And will your use harm the market for the original work?
Okay, that sounds important. If I want to summarize, then basically you always have to consider that there is some laws in the background that you have to familiarize yourself with. Nancy, could you also tell us how you possibly could be reached or your blog? So if somebody else wants more in detail information, what do you suggest they would do?
Well, I have two main websites that I'm using right now for clients. One of them is the site of my law firm. It's nancydelewski.com. That's NancyDylewski. And then I also have one for management services, and that's Baltimore S. BaltimoreSQUE.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us today. Stay tuned for more information from us. Thank you.